Morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you can see me okay, hear me all right. Hello, hello. Hey, Owen, how you doing? Give me 1 minute. I'm just clicking everything to start the streams. Alrighty, good. Hey, Ayakame, good morning, good afternoon. How you doing? There is an echo. All right. Let me just see what I can do with that. I haven't changed anything, so let me just see. Okay. Any better? Oh, almost like 2 streams playing at the same time. Why is that? That's interesting. Hang on a second. Let me just check that. In the meantime, give me a moment. I'm just going to check what's happening on that. Is everyone else facing that same problem as well? That's very weird. I haven't changed anything. I'm just going to try something. I'm just... Okay. Hey, Jimmy. How are you doing? Okay. Yeah, maybe try and reload. Bit of cut in transmission. Okay, wait, we gotta get rid of that guy. Yeah, the sound is not. I'm just checking the sound. I'm just streaming it on my phone. Sound doesn't seem to be doing very well. Yeah, just checking the sound. Okay. Well, you guys tell me, is it okay or is the stream okay? Is it sounding all right? Just let me know. In the meantime, sounding all right. Yeah, I do. I think I do hear a bit of the echo. Okay. All right, all right. Irwin says it seems okay now. All good for Jimmy. All right, let's keep going with that. Let me try and change that a little bit and see what happens there. Okay. I think that should be okay now. Let's see. All right. So keep me updated on how it goes with the sound, and if it chops and change, I will try and, you know, I'm terrible with this tech stuff, but I'll try and figure it out if it gets terrible. But yeah, thank you all for joining and letting me know about this. Hey Diana, how are you doing? Good morning. Hey Gorju, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Okay. Hey Pips Apprentice. Oh, okay. Oh, am I streaming on Discord? I don't know. Okay. I've lost my train of thought. Where am I? What am I doing? Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. Something seems to be working. Okay. Right. We are back in. We'll figure that one out. We'll do the live stream. We'll continue on with the live stream. Good morning, Moss. How you doing? Hey, Stefan. Good to see you. Hey, KLE. Good to see you as well. Good morning. If you are new to the session, please help me out. Leave a comment, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. And for all the regulars, a big welcome back. Thank you for joining me again on this daily market analysis. If you can, if all of you can, help me out, click that like and subscribe button as we go through the session. That would help us grow this channel. And if you haven't already, the link for the Discord channel is there. Do make sure you join us on Discord. Helps grows the Discord channel. I think we're almost at 900, if not already at 900 members. Started in April last year, so beyond my imagination that we would get to almost 1,000 within the year. So hope you're all enjoying the Discord channel. Any feedback, any comments about that as well, put it into the chat and let me know, okay? A quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. So please remember that objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. And if you have any questions or any particular currency pair you'd like me to look at, please feel free to put it into the chat on whichever platform you are watching us from, and I'll get to that. Okay. Hey Robbie, how are you doing? Hey Jamil, good morning. How are you doing? So, you know, like I was saying in the Discord channel, it's been quiet. Right? Look at the dollar index. We were yesterday thinking that, oh, it might bounce off this level. I'll take that one away. It might bounce off that trend line to push up, and it hasn't. The dollar index has still remained within this range, right? Within that 102 and 102.70 range. I think we spoke about that on Monday, and it's still within that range. Hasn't done too much at all. Reason why it dropped, right? Reason why it broke through that trend line and dropped slightly to the downside from 102, about 102.45 down to 102.17 right now, is from this morning, early this morning, where FOMC member William was speaking, made a lot of comments, right? Made a lot of comments to say that rates are high enough to cool inflation to its goal of 2%, right? To the Fed's goal of 2%. But there is also talk that fears of inflation getting stuck at a high level are not being borne out. Rate cut prospects are tied to how the economy performs. Okay, so hey, it's in general what he's saying is that yes, we have raised it enough, but rates are still, we have raised it enough to get inflation down to, or to supposedly be able to get inflation down to its target of 2 to 3%, but there is still that risk of it being stuck at that 3 to 4% level. It's not the worst case scenario if it gets stuck at 3 to 4%, but they are trying to bring it down to the 2 to 3%. And then the Fed's work to bring inflation down to 2% is not done. Fed will need restrictive policy stance for some time, right? This is very important here. The Fed will need restrictive policy stance for some time. So maybe in this case, now talking about pushing that timeline for some easing a little bit further out. Inflation situation has improved, we know that. Things are looking very good on the jobs front, we know that as well. Okay, so because of especially that line that the Fed will need restrictive policy stance for some time, we see on the CME Fed Watch 2, now 31st of Jan meeting, we are almost at a certainty, 97.4% chance that the Feds are going to keep rates at its current level, right? Going to keep rates at its current level. Look at it, one day ago, and the 9th of Jan was 94.8, before that 93.8, 1 month ago was at 97.8. So now it's back to the level from 1 month ago. Okay, this is in January. We're looking at March now. We're still at a 68.8% chance for a rate cut, right? A 31.2% chance to stay at the current level. So it's dropped a little bit, but I'm still more towards, I think there is a chance for a rate cut in March, but possibly not a very big chance, right? Most likely, or I'm still pricing in the scenario that we'll see the cut in May, right? With a 96% chance of a rate cut in that scenario. Okay, so because of that, because of what he has said early this morning, 4:15 a.m. GMT +8, that's why we saw the dollar index push to the downside, right? Push to the downside, talking about how rates are high enough, might have to stay a little bit restrictive. Target level of 2 to 3% is not there yet, but they're going to be working towards that. And that's why we see the dollar index push down. I'm still not, I'll take that away for now, but I'm still not ruling out a possible bounce on the dollar given what we have coming up later today. Okay, so what do we have later today? Right, after that, not much else. Later today, we do have the US CPI data. CPI data, again, it is the inflation growth number. Year on year was 3.1%, expected to rise slightly to a 3.2%. All right, and I think we've been talking about this through possibly, if I remember, from last week as well. But through this week, we've been looking at this event as the likely data that's going to bring about increased volatility or increased liquidity to the markets, and anticipating that we might see that 3.2 or even the 3.3%. At this point now, I might even revise it down. Right, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see it at that 3.1. Maybe a little bit of a disappointment at a 3.1% here for the CPI year on year. Okay. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if it stays at 3.1, but I'm looking at maybe 3.1, 3.2, of that kind of range. But essentially showing that inflation, the fight to bring, and remember William said that, right? The fight to bring inflation down to its target level of 2 to 3% is not done yet. It's not done yet. So we might actually see a little bit of a bounce back up, stay within, the dollar index staying within that range, but we know these are crucial levels. Okay, Jamil just said dollar index is strong sell, possibly, but I would say only if it breaks below 102. With that, what else do we have last night? Not much else. Governor Bailey didn't do too much, or didn't really say too much. BOE official sees exuberance as top financial stability risk. China property risks are crystallizing for banks, so it's not important to return UK inflation to target. Everyone is talking, well, not everyone, every central banker is focused and talking about and trying to take action to bring inflation back down to its target level of 2 to 3%. Okay, so that's the main feature for today, 9:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, on the dollar index. On the dollar, looking at the CPI to bring it down to 3.1, 3.2. I would like to see, I think that this, well, I'm thinking aloud that whatever this number might be, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, we might still see a similar move on the dollar. What I mean by that is, you look at this, it went from 3.2 to 3.1 on the 12th of December. And I like doing this just to give you an idea of what could happen. Where are we? On the 12th of December, there we go. That's the news. Okay, zoom in a little bit to show you. So it went from 3.2 down to 3.1. A small drop in the inflation growth number, and we saw the dollar index pop up slightly from 103.74 up within 2 hours to 104, but then still continued lower. Okay, and then one more is when you see that go from a 3.7 to a 3.2 on the 14th of November. Move back further. There we go. You see that big drop there, right? So if we're going from a 3.1 with a big drop, maybe down to that 2 point something number, then we're likely going to see that kind of move. We're likely going to see that kind of move down on the dollar index if we see inflation number drop quite significantly. But if it stays at that 3.1 level, or it comes out at 3.2, maybe even 3.3 level, then we might see what we saw here on the 14th or the 12th of the 12th? Yeah, 12th of December. We see a small pop up on the dollar. Okay, so coming back to the present, what that means is, too many squiggly lines, take all that away. Okay, what that means is that, here we go. Okay, I can take that trend line away. I don't need that. My resistance at 61.8 is still valid. That point is still valid. Pushing that one. Okay. So what that means is now with the dollar at that 102.20 level. There we go. Okay. I would be looking if, what's happening? Why is my thing not loading up? Okay, there we go. I would be looking for, today being the 11th, if the dollar, for the dollar index, CPI at about 3.1 to 3.3%, we could see the dollar could bounce up, but likely to remain within the range, right? Alternatively, if, okay, let's do that one. And then if the CPI is below 3%, then we could see DXY break 102 to head to 101.45. There we go. Okay, so we're planning a bit now for the CPI number, CPI release, and this is year on year. Okay, CPI year on year. Scenarios are that if it comes out at 3.1, anywhere from 3.1 to 3.3, I think that we're likely to see the dollar index bounce back up, but stay within this range. All right, stay within range at 102.70 to 102, well, sorry, I'm just being pedantic, to 102.70. Okay, so stay within that range. It might sit there now, might push a little bit lower in the lead up to the news release, but we might see this push if it stays, if it gets released at 3.1 to 3.3. If it gets released below 3.3, why is this lagging so much? Just want to make sure that it's working. Okay, if it gets released below 3.3, then we're likely to, then we could see the dollar index break to the downside, down towards that 101.45 level. Hey Mady, how are you doing? Hey OJ, Meds, good morning, how are you doing? Something's happening on my stream. Just want to make sure the stream working fine for you guys. Just let me know. Yeah, Restream just decided to go blank and come back up again. Must be weight and reaction. Yeah, you know, look for that reaction along that 102 level. Okay, I think it's back to normal now. Things happen. Okay, so I'm looking at that dollar index CPI year on year 3.1 to 3.3. Dollar index could bounce up but remain within that range. Below 3%, dollar index could break 102 to head towards 101.45. Okay, now with that, then we'll look at the pairs. This Kiwi dollar, well within, still within that range. That did not trigger, take that one away. With that range, thanks for that, Ayakami. With that range and anticipating that bounce, okay, between these two, I think that we're more likely to see a bounce. So that dollar strength come back into play or within that range. What you could be looking for here on the Kiwi dollar, interim level, I would even say there's an interim level there. You could be looking at trading within the range. Let's see if it's worth doing that. There's a 20 pip move. I wouldn't. Okay, I wouldn't do anything on the Kiwi. It's still well within, it's still stuck in that range. It's still stuck in that range. I don't like it too much. Even if I had my resistance down to here, still within that range. Maybe what you could think about, let's test that out. So 38.2 is there. 61.8 is up there. No, I don't like. Okay. So you can see that structure, it just came down and then it stayed within that range. If I'm looking at that, 38.2 forms a good resistance. You can possibly be looking at that as an interim level. On a dollar weakness scenario, you might see that push back up. You know what I would like to see? Okay, I'll tell you what I would look for here is now with the dollar index looking like it's going to come down and test this level a little bit, maybe what we could see here is a test and a reject for the Kiwi dollar. So I'll be looking to sell down. It's a bit of a long shot, but 6265. Stop loss tight at about 20 pips. Take profit could go down to 45 to the downside. If it breaks that level, you can trade it even lower. Good morning, Kalinzi. How are you doing? I look last high is a break. Yeah, I think I want to see what happens at that resistance. So 6275 break, test and break. I want to see this to sell, well, retrace and reject resistance. Then I would sell 6265, 20 to 45. 0.6265, stop loss 20, take profit 45 to the downside. All right, Jamil says, I look last high is a break. We need to see what happens here. I would say that it could, but we need to see what happens on the dollar index first. Right, so it could push up to this point and break back down depending on that CPI release. Then onto the Aussie, again, nothing happened here. Take that one away. Bit of too many dotted lines. I'll take that one away. Within this range, I possibly want to go a little bit different to the Kiwi because we're looking at the Kiwi possibly testing to push back down again. Right, Aussie I might not want to trade within that range because looking at this, it's a small range. It's only 30 pips, a very small range there to try and trade it down. Almost not worth doing. So what you would want to do here on the Aussie, 38.2 is being held. I would say look for it to break. Give it a bit more time. Give it a little bit more time on the Aussie here. For it to break 6678, then you could trade it down. Again, this is in a dollar strength scenario. You could, depending on your risk profile, you could trade this down first, right? You could be looking to trade this down, but I would prefer, for me, I would prefer to look for it to break that near-term support, 20 pip stop all the way down, 60 pip take. It's the same trade that we were looking at yesterday, but I'll just give you a bit more time in this news event. Okay, could it bounce and break to the upside? Yes, not enough space to trade it up. I wouldn't, with 61.8 quite close by as well. Okay, so I'll look for that 6670. 6670, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the downside. Oh, we have it there. 6670, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the downside, keeping with yesterday's setup, still looking for that. I don't want to trade that down. Then on to the yen. Anyone got onto the yen from this? Right, so we were talking about this at that point. It did not drop as much, but it did come down to test that 23.6 level, that resistance now turned support level. And then it bounced to push back up to not quite 84 pips, but it got to 75. Right, it got to 75. I got out at about 60 something pips to the upside. I just traded, quick trade as it was pushing up. I got out of that trade, so I didn't trade it all the way. It was way too late to hold on to that trade, right? So I got in and pushed it up and then got out of that. So let me know if you got onto the US yen to the upside. Prince Philip OG says dollar index chart looks on the daily looks like a down. Let's see. It looks like a consolidation. To be really fair, it looks like a consolidation. It might push down a little bit, but I think that the news event, it could be something like that. Right, it could change quite quickly, or could just sit there again. I think that this consolidation needs a bit of needs something to make it break. Could be the CPI, but you know, we'll wait and see. Coming back to that, so I think that on a daily time frame, there are a lot of things that could factor into that move. But it looks like, to me, it looks like still in that consolidation. Jamil said, yesterday I took 3 trades, Jin, 1 stop loss at 18 pips in sell direction. Which trade was that? 2 trades by 30 pips and trade 3 in 30 pips, profit one whole. Which currency pair is that, Jamil? Let me know. So US yen did well for me. I had a quick, I think 60 something or just under 60-ish pip move to the upside. Right now, what you should notice is that, where do we have it? We have a bit, that tail there, this area here, a bit of a double top. Okay, we'll look at the pound dollar shortly. A bit of a double top scenario. We also have that point there. Okay, so that's holding that upside. I don't need this one. Take that away. I don't need that anymore. Okay, and then we have that 23 and 38.2 as a support right there. So what I'm looking at here, on the US yen is possibly if we see that dollar weakness scenario, like Prince Philip OG is saying, or you know, like some of you might be thinking, what if the dollar does not bounce? All right, if CPI or comes out and the dollar comes down and breaks below 102 towards 101.45, maybe something to think about would be onto the US yen to the downside. Right, it tested. So on the last week, it tested and it pushed down towards 143.4, almost 143.40. went back up, now tested again, looking like it's pushing down. I would say that if it breaks below 23.6, don't do anything yet. You know, it could be within this range. Only if it breaks below 144.80, maybe you can look to sell it down. And this is being a bit safer here. 144.70, stop loss tight, 25 pip move to the down, 25 pip stop loss, and a good 120 pip move to the downside. Right, so looking at the dollar weakness scenario, could come down, break below this point, then I'll look to sell it down. But if not, nothing yet. Can it push higher? Yes, it could, but there is a resistance at 146.45. I would like maybe as planning a bit of a dollar weakness scenario back down. Okay. So 144.7025 to 120. Again, I like US yen, so that's going to be high on my, what am I doing? Going to be a bit high on my list as a counter trend trade idea. So we're looking to sell this at 144.70, stop loss 25, take profit 120. 25, take profit 120 to the downside. Hey Angel Case, how are you doing? Okay. There we go. I am happy. So we have dollar strength scenario, Kiwi dollar, dollar strength, Aussie looking to sell down. Dollar weakness scenario, we can look to sell the US yen down. Pound dollar, right? It did not push down, so it went up. This was yesterday at about that point. Oh, so yeah, Jamil got in. I think it was on a pound dollar we were talking about yesterday. I can't remember what we were talking about yesterday. I think it got in a bit early, then it pushed back up, so that's why it hit your stop loss on 18 pips for that one. Then 2 buy trades, 30 pips to the upside. I'm pretty sure you would have got in at about that point, 1.2735-ish. And that's a 30 pip move to the upside. So you booked your profit, 30 pips profits, but in holding position. Yep, that makes sense. In fact, let me know if that makes sense, if it's similar to what you got into there, Jamil. I would say that the third trade that you have on hold might be a little bit dangerous, okay, because we see what happened here and right across here as well. That level at 1.2770 at the top might form that resistance and might lead to a breakdown on the pound dollar. Especially if we see the dollar index push back up. So I'm thinking that as a trade setup, purely as a trade setup, just the way it's moving there, you would be looking at that. $23.6 would be about there. Breakdown, you could be looking at that. What I would be looking for would be to sell down 1.275350. Stop loss 20 pips. Take profit 60 to the downside. Could come back down into the range. right? I wouldn't want to trade it up, not enough space up there. So I'll be looking for that back down. And that's why I think that if you have your trade on the pound dollar, maybe be a little bit careful about that. Might possibly come back down within the range. OJ Meds asking about the US 30 and NAS 100. We can look at that if we've got the time. Just bear with me. I want one more trade, but waiting to break 1.2775. Yeah, if it breaks to the upside, maybe you can trade that up, but it looks like it might come back down also. Volume imbalance close to my take profit. I would think that you're talking about that move. That maybe, so I think it'll come close. I would still think that it could come down and bounce and come down, bounce around here and push lower, or retrace a bit and push lower. Yeah, see, I give me the terms. I kind of can figure it out, but just doesn't come to me straight away. But you know, I know what we are looking out for. So that's what I'll be looking out. 1.2750. Pound dollar 1.2750. Stop loss 20. Take profit 60. To the downside. Okay. All right, cool. Then I'm very happy with this one, right? So I got out of the yen yesterday, and then you know I put in a speculative trade on the euro. This was super late. I didn't. What did I do? I got out of the yen. I got into the yen, then I got onto the euro quickly just to try and, you know, do a bit of a speculative trade, and it worked out quite nicely because it was coming back down. And then if I show it to you on the 5-minute time frame, oh, okay, there we go. Show it to you on the 5-minute time frame. That was one of the trades that I was doing on the euro, right? It was pushing down, and then after that it started pushing back up. So I didn't get in at 1.0940 as we were talking about. I got in a little bit later, I think about 4.5 or 5.0, around there, I can't remember, as it was pushing back up, right? So as it was pushing back up, got into that and then ride it all the way up. So quite happy for on the euro dollar, trading within that channel to the upside, right? And I actually just got out of that. I think I had it a little bit lower. I had it about 40 pips that way. So I got out of that early this morning. Okay. Yes, Diana, we can look at Swiss. It is becoming one of the things to look at as well. So yeah, we can look at Swiss yen. Is this CPI setups or pre-CPI? I would say that it's CPI or pre CPI setups, right? Because between now to CPI release, might not see a lot of movements. I think it's going to retrace, bounce around there. So I think it's going to set up a bit better after the news release. Okay, so anyone got onto the euro dollar trading within that channel? Let me know. Right now that it's maybe thinking of maintaining within that channel, testing, now looking like a rejection, very similar to the pound dollar, very similar to the pound dollar. We're looking at it maybe pushing back down. Someone's asking on TikTok about shorting the euro. Yes, we're looking at that at this point. And to analyze gold, we will get to gold towards the end, so stay tuned. We will get to gold. Hey Z Plug, how you doing? Good morning. Hey Atir, how you doing? Okay. On my MT4, I don't look at my Swiss yen, so I really need to get onto that. I do the analysis because Diana asked about Swiss yen, but it's not one of my habits, so I really need to develop that, build that habit. Okay, so on euro dollar, within that channel, looking to sell down. So I guess I missed a big move on the Swiss yen. Did you get onto the Swiss yen, Diana? Let me know. 1.0970, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 40, back down, trading within that range. Right, so euro dollar, I'm looking at the price remaining within this slightly bullish channel. So I'll be looking to sell down at 1.0970 with a 20 pip stop loss and a 40 pip take profit towards the bottom of that channel. Okay, so euro dollar, we're looking at sell 1.09 something, 7020 to 40. 1.0970, stop loss 20, take profit 40 to the downside. Oh, fantastic, good news. I love seeing that, Diana. Chris is asking, good morning, Chris, how are you doing? Can you explain shortly which CPI number would push or let the DXY drop? We have it there. We have it there in the summary. There. Do check out my stream or replay back to that. If it's I'm thinking that if CPI is released between 3.1 to 3.3%, dollar index could bounce up, but still remain within this range of 102 and 102.70. If it gets below, if it's released below 3%, then we could see the dollar index break 102 support and head down towards that 101.45 level. All right, no worries, Chris. Hey, remember, all of you, help me out, click the like and subscribe button. I don't know how it'll help, I'm sure it'll help massively. So remember to do that. Now we've done that. Okay, now we look at the Swiss yen, Swiss dollar franc. Push down slightly. Did not push up. We'll take that one away. Push down slightly, so we see a bit of, that dollar weakness come back into play because we saw it break slightly to the downside, testing that lower support. Could also be translated as some strength on the Swiss franc. That's why we saw it push a little bit back down. Right now, in between that support, all right, I've got that support level here and resistance level there. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, so within that range, I wouldn't be looking at any trades on the Swiss franc, on the US Swiss franc now, right? Because dollar strength could see this push up, but there is a resistance here. Dollar weakness could see this push down, but there is a support here. So I wouldn't be looking for this trade. On the US Swiss franc, I would say do nothing for now. But with that, anticipating that we might see maybe the US yen pushing back down, the US Swiss franc maybe pushing back up to that resistance with some dollar strength, maybe translating to that Swiss franc weakness, looking at that Swiss yen, right? We saw that push. So we spoke about this yesterday, 170.75, 30 pip stop loss, 70 pip take profit. It did not get all the way to 70, got to about 65 thereabouts, or 66, and then now pushing back down. So How many pips did you get, Diana? Let me know. Let us know, let us know. Okay. Now with that, check that level. 23.6 makes sense with that point there. Consolidating, pushing back down. US Swiss franc pushing up. We're going to see that could translate to the franc weakness, and that's why we're seeing that push down together with the US yen pushing down. Maybe something to think about is that if the US yen does push down, we could see this break lower. I want to see what happens here at 170.50. Well, in this range, in this support, now resistance turns support level. It's coming down quite strongly. Right, it's coming down quite strongly. 38.2 is right there. That point is fine. I'm thinking, well, I've got two thoughts in my mind. One is that it might do that, right? Test the support and bounce back up, or break down. Okay, if we're looking to sell on the yen to the downside, we've got US yen back down again. What you could be looking for here, or I would be thinking to look for here, would be for it to test 170.55, right? Even 170.50 down here, 45 down here. Test and reject the support, and then look for a similar move to yesterday. 170.65. Stop loss tight, no more than 25 pips. Take profit back up there, 80 pips. Right? But Swiss yen needs to come down, needs to retrace now, needs to test either the support or that 38.2 level, reject and bounce back up. Then we're looking to buy it up from 170.65, 25 pip stop loss, 80 pip take profit back up. Okay. Diana had an entry of 170, close at 170.75. Very nice, around 70 pips. Good job. Very nice. 170. Oh, it's way back down there. All right, yep. As it was sitting in that consolidation. You got in a bit earlier. Yep, looks good. Broke to the upside, traded up towards 170.75. Okay, towards near that high. Okay, so this is what Diana did. 170 there. Okay. Just my point of view, not saying, I think that your trade that you had was, it made money, so it's a good trade. But just my point of view here, right? If you had your stop loss about there, right, and you're looking for that, so you had your take profit up there at 170, that previous high. All right, what I would have, I'll zoom in a bit just to make it easier to see. What I would be looking for now is that, you might have entered there, it's bounced around as it pushes up. As it pushes up, and you can see that big push to the upside, big strong momentum to the upside as it comes towards my take profit at about 170.80 or 170.75 there. I would drag my take profit up, right? Oops. I would drag my take profit up towards that point. And then I will try and see where it goes. I'll be watching it as it breaks past that high. Then, very realistically, I wouldn't think that it would get all the way there. At that point, as it breaks past this high, right? Once the candle closes, I'll possibly get out about that point. Yes, on hindsight, I would have loved to tell you, you know, you can hold it all the way to take profit and make 130 pips to the upside. But as you're sitting there trading, what's most likely going to happen is that it pushes up. It's outside of Bollinger. It broke that high. We're going to anticipate some retrace. I would close out, you know, at about that point. Okay. And yes, if you didn't watch the chart, it's a very good idea to have closed out at where you were looking at 170.75. I think that's perfect as well. Okay, but yeah, so for me, typically when I have a trade, I would just sit there, watch it. You know, I'll do something else or watch it, and then I'll try and adjust my levels, my take profit levels as well. Okay, so that was just a bit of a digression on how I would try and let a trade run a little bit more. Kalinzi said, sorry to take you back, can you repeat, explain on how you enter the trade? I think you're talking about the Swiss yen. Now it's retracing back down. I want to see it come down. I want to see it come down, test around this 170.55 level, reject. Once it bounces, then we can look at about 170.65 and then to trade it back up. Okay. Yes, and if you have, you know, gym, Diana just said I have a gym session, cannot skip. Never skip your gym session. I have to say that, if not, my trainer is going to kick my ass. But yes, if you have a gym session, keep to it. All right, digression aside, now back to it. USCAD did not happen. Take that one away. Take that one away. Now trading within this range. Any CAD news? It's just US numbers are there. Back to the US CAD. Most likely, because it's come close and it's pushing back up, that trend line is done. Let me see. No point having that. We can have that. I don't think it's gonna, it doesn't do much or doesn't tell us much. Jamil closed pound dollar. Okay, good. I don't know what's happening on pound dollar. We can have a quick look at that. US CAD pushing back up, resistance. I would say that US CAD only if it breaks above that resistance. I want to see what happens at 1.34. If it breaks above 1.34, then you could be looking at a tight 20 pip to 60 to the upside. All right, so US CAD, we want to see a look for reaction at 1.34. Then we would buy, I think I have the same one, 1.3415, 20 to 60. 20 to 60. There we go. Okay. Couple of questions about pound dollar. Sounds like it's moving. It hasn't done anything. It's still sitting there. 1 minute to candle close. It's still sitting in that consolidation. Still, I think it would have been safe. It's a safe move to have closed it, but I think that, you know, it's gonna sit there a little bit. So no big updates on the pound dollar. Dinah, I see your question about the pound Aussie. Let me just answer OJ Meds about the US 30. Oh wait, let me do gold first. Okay, so let me do gold first. So gold did not break above that point. So gold yesterday we were saying we're looking for a reaction of between 2034 and 2040. So last evening, it got up to 2034, 2040, got a rejection. This is what we were looking at, rejection to push back down. It did reject and push back down. I haven't been looking at my gold scalping too much, right? So I haven't, not at all. So it did reject and push down, so that played out nicely. Bounced off the support back up towards 2034 again, looking like a possible rejection back down. Okay, looking like a possible rejection back down. I would be okay with that. But it needs to close below to be safer. I would say 2031, below 2031 could trade down to 2019. Yeah. All right. So gold. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, gold below 2031 could trade down to 2019. There we go. Okay. Cool. Then US 30. I don't have my lines here. I think that looking at a dollar pushing, maybe sitting there, pushing back up a little bit. I think that could, with that resistance there, that could push back down a little bit. Might be looking at a bit of a retracement back down on the DJI. Especially with that point there. I don't anticipate that it's going to be a big one. Maybe could come back, could sit around there for a while, push back down before pushing back up. Bit of a correction. Might go even deeper towards that point, but I don't think this CPI release is going to have that big an impact on on the indices at this point. Yeah, especially the CPI for now. Okay, then the 100. Maybe a bit of a push up, but it's all, I find that it's all very toppish. So because it's all very toppish, I'm always considering the possibility of a bit of a correction before continuation back up. So just be extra careful. Very toppish at the moment. Okay, you're most welcome there, Goju. And then pound dollar waterfall now. It's not falling that much. Okay, well, coming close. So we spoke about that already. It's coming close. Don't rush in. It's only 4 o'clock, my time. We want it to close below 1.2750. Still a bit of space there. We want to get to that point before you'll be looking to sell it down. Would the pound dollar be a counter trend trade? Yes, a bit of a counter trend trade. You can consider either a counter trend trade or a what's it called, a ranging, a horizontal range, because look, it tested, came back down, tested, came back down, tested, possibly going to come back down. Very nice, Jamil. 65 pips plus positive, 18 minus, so still overall net positive. Very good. And then on to the pound Aussie. All right, yesterday we were thinking, yesterday we were thinking that it could retrace and push back down. It did not do that. In fact, it tested still within that range. Now, if like someone says, like Kalinzi says, pound waterfall to the downside, pound weakness, we're going to see this push down. Aussie dollar sitting there, but we likely see that come down as well. It looks like it's showing some downward push. Pound Aussie, I think, could see a push lower. Not something I trade here, so I'm being a bit more cautious, but I think it could push back down, remaining within that range of 1.8945 to 1.90. Could remain within that range, so might see that push to the downside towards that level. Okay, very good. Thanks for asking all that. I think Hale is asking. Hale just said SHIB. I think you're asking about the Shiba coin. I don't have that. Let's see. Probably a scalp on the lower time frame will be short. Yes, I would think so. I think that it's a short-term, very small move, short-term move to the downside, back down again. Pound Aussie, strong push, wait to break. Yeah, I think it's going to come back down before maybe pushing back up, but it's got that resistance there. SHIB, I think that it's at a resistance level here, right, at that resistance area. Generally, right, with the Bitcoin ETF approved by the SEC, we're looking at Bitcoin pushing to the upside on release of the news, now retracing back down. Generally looking at most of the pairs pushing up. So yeah, SHIB could rise up, but it's at the resistance, needs to break past that before we're going to see further upside. Okay, so again, everyone, please remember, link for the Discord channel is there. If you haven't already, do make sure you join us. And if you can help me out, do click that like and subscribe button. Like and subscribe button, that would help massively, whether you're on TikTok, LinkedIn, TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, anywhere you are, click that like and subscribe button. And I would like to see you on Discord. If not, then we'll catch you on tomorrow's stream. Please trade well, trade safe, have a great day, and fantastic profits ahead. Bye-bye now.